Welcome to today's SageWorks webinar, the 30-Minute Expert, where we will be looking at automating advisory services during your tax season meetings with clients. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to join us here today, and we're excited to be able to share some of the insights we have from talking to thousands of accountants and other financial professionals every month, really, here at SageWorks. So before we jump in, I just wanted to give you a little bit of context about who we are if you are unfamiliar with SageWorks and with the software solutions that we provide. We are a financial information company that creates software around private company financial statements, and we have the largest real-time database of privately held company financials. So what we do is we take those and really equip CPAs and other financial professionals to go and have conversations with their clients and with their prospects in a way that kind of helps deliver actionable data-driven conversations and actions for after the meeting. And so we really wanted to help CPAs and other financial professionals that might be doing taxes right now to help equip you with things to talk about with your clients. And so that's why we put together this series of webinars. And if you're joining us now, this is about the 4th webinar that we've done in this series. And so we're excited to be able to continue on with that. And before we get started, I just want to quickly mention or show a legal statement here. And because we do so much work with projecting out financial statements and kind of the decisions that you will be able to advise your clients or prospects on, we just wanted to put this out here as a legal statement, kind of explaining that we will be using words like believe, expect, or plans, and anticipates, and just a little bit of insight into what we do and have security there. So now we're going to be introducing our speaker who will be joining me today, Chad Wright, who is our Associations and Strategic Relationship Director here at SageWorks. And Chad is really an expert to be talking on this subject, as he's worked in every part of the company here and has gathered a lot of information from talking to different accountants and financial professionals, and brings a lot to the table as far as how to deliver value, have constructive conversations with your clients, and how to improve processes within your firm. And so we're glad that he can join us here today. And so Chad, I'm going to hand it over to you and we'll get started.
Good deal. Thanks, Zach, and thanks to everybody who's attending today. I know this is a super busy time of year for you guys, so I want to keep it short to about 30 minutes or so. Make sure we move right along. Want to just kind of give you guys an agenda here for what we are going to cover for today. So what we're going to be looking at is going to be automation and really how that relates to your advisory services. As Zach mentioned, this is part 4 of our series where we've been focusing a lot on not only industry data for your business clients, but also how to create and expand your advisory services to these business clients. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start with defining automation, and then we're going to move into the details of why it's important and really, what services that you're able to automate. Our main goal is to help you identify ways that your firm can improve the efficiency and really to provide more services during the tax season and really the rest of the year as well, while remaining reliable to the compliance engagements. So when we look at the agenda, when we look at automated service to provide value, we're going to look at, what is automation, why is it important? We're going to look at why should you want to automate those advisory services, and then what services can you automate. We do think it's very important to know your client's industry, so we are going to focus on that and look at our industry database as well. And then we're also going to talk about the importance of the data collection, what goes into this database, and how easy it is or how efficient you can actually import client financials into a software like ours to be able to present this background or this view into the privately owned businesses. At the end of the session, we are going to provide a tax season special offer. Today we have a good mix of you guys that are current PrivateSense customers, so we appreciate you guys being here. I hope to take a lot of these things to heart. And we have a good mix of non-customers or prospects where this offer would apply to you going forward.
Yeah, and like Chad said, a lot of what we're going to put out here is a roadmap of how to one, use our product to be more efficient, but then also just general information and education on how you can automate processes within your firm and kind of a framework for how you should be thinking about the technology that you bring on board. But with that, we will jump into the next slide.
Good. So we like to start with a little icebreaker here. Zach thought this would be a good one to set the stage for our presentation today. It's kind of funny to me. Obviously, it'd be a lot better if it was Halloween and not Easter. But not a whole lot we can do about that during this time of year.
It's too good to pass it.
So really, looking at this, oftentimes businesses, especially CPA firms, can shy away from the idea of big data and the tools that can help automate or streamline the processes that concern their clients. The reason of why you can be scared of this is really due to the looming question, like, how do I know this is reliable, accurate, and useful?
And you might be looking at this and be wondering, what is big data? And big data sometimes feels like it has kind of a loose terminology around it, but big data actually is any database that is so large that a normal human with other processes can't use that data correctly. And so big data is using technology to process huge amounts of data information or data points to bring down to clear, actionable insights about different industries, clients, services, and the like.
Yeah, and to some degree, when doing this, you give up control of the process you've been familiar with for years. You really kind of become reliant on a new way of thinking or doing things. We do realize change is scary, but change can also create more streamlined processes that can display value to your clients and essentially help to grow the firm itself. So, we're looking at automation and why is it important, right? Everybody's going to be themselves that question. So in our context for today, automation is really just simplifying the ways that accountants traditionally perform tasks during their prospecting and both their engagements.
And in kind of conjunction with that last slide on big data, how automation ties into big data is, again, those processes that your firm puts in place to bring about data that's out there that you have into actionable insights for what you should be talking about with your clients. So automation helps bring big data into very tangible and useful deliverables for you.
Yeah, and through the use of software or any other technologies, firms can now streamline the process so they can provide more attention to the important components of the businesses. A good example that would kind of work in your everyday life would be, a self-checkout at a grocery store, right? Automating this process. Grocers are now able to save capital on employees while paying greater attention to things like inventory management and even, marketing to their client base. Why is this important, right? The starting point would be identifying places where you can remove waste and where you can save resources for more important components of your business. Some examples of this could be like research you perform on your client's industry, or spending meticulous time making sure the numbers are correct. There's a lot of software solutions out there that help identify outliers, which will help to focus your firm's or your staff's attention there. Another example could be automating something like your newsletters or any other marketing activities to help you identify prospects and clients with whom you can fill your engagement pipeline.
I think Chad said it right. Like, looking into your company and seeing where you can remove wasted resources is going to be key to staying competitive and actually firm growth. So are you using your staff in ways that are appropriate and useful to the firm's growth and their time? Is there ways that you can make certain functionalities that they're doing faster and more efficient? Then likewise, materials. What are you wasting? What are you not using much of? One of the things that we hear a lot of times is people invest in these processes or programs or spreadsheets that they only use on one client. And so you should be looking to think about, what are materials, items that we can build or invest our time or money in that can really be replicated across different clients and different industries. And of course, another thing you should be thinking about is how your time and your capital investments play into this.
Yes, automating more of your processes, guys, can help to free up the time to focus on the business development of your firm, which creates a lot of opportunity for you. So in a lot of ways, technology can help you transition from a traditional quote-unquote bean counter accountant and more into a trusted advisor, being more proactive instead of reactive. You want to be able to spend time, helping the clients fix broken processes within the client's businesses. So when we look at this, being able to give more attention to your top clients, right? Having the ability to meet with them, show them additional value, being able to identify opportunities to save them from their own waste. It gives you the ability, looking at the competency to provide certain services, right? What are things you can do to remove barriers from not only your firm growth, but also from your clients' businesses, from their growth as well. The benefits of it, this is going to really, it's going to allow you to obtain professional and both personal development. So your staff, your partners are going to have more time to develop. But ultimately the end goal here, and we focus on this a lot in talking with our current customers, is being able to identify time now to spend, if you want to spend more time with your family or away from the office, or if you want to reinvest it in some of your top level clients or the ones that need more exposure, we're going to be able to help free up that time there with doing this.
I think one of the key things that Chad mentioned with the opportunity that automation provides is it really helps you to be able to specialize in a particular service or even grow your service offerings, which really makes you much more tangibly valuable to clients and to prospects. So it's kind of like thinking about your toolbox. What other tools can you add to it that will make you more efficient and more valuable to clients and prospects when you talk to them? And automation is a way that you can cut off time so that you can focus on your development for your firm's development and then ultimately for your clients.
So, a big question would be, why automate the advisory services, right? Automating processes in a general sense, it will obviously help you compete with other firms and to grow your practice. But, automating advisory services will really help to provide a competitive edge to the services and offices that you currently provide. You should constantly be thinking about what value can you add to a client. When that value can be automated, you struck a gold mine because, number one, it saves you time, and number two, it signals to your client that you are proactive and have something that other firms don't have. We look at this, we see this in the actual numbers, right? Business owners value proactivity. Additionally, they're also being consistently prospected by other firms who can have a more appealing value proposition for your clients.
Yeah, and these are some statistics that we've put up and done a lot of research on, and really there's a handout that we've included into today's webinar that you can see on the right. Go to Webinar Nav. It should be just a little thing called handouts that you can download there, or if you'd want to see that, you can just type into the chat box and we will send that out to you in email. But these are very important things to be paying attention to. 80% of SMEs stated they have switched accountants because their former accountant did not give proactive advice. And then also that 55% of businesses report being currently and actively prospected by competing firms. And so this is something that you're probably, keeps you up at night, and if you didn't know about it, it should be a concern. That a lot of accountants are losing business because they're not providing proactive advice. They're not able to add that extra value that exposes challenges or opportunities within the client's business. And without that, what ends up happening is half of your prospects have the potential to be taken away from you. And it's important to be thinking, what is the cost of losing a certain client, one of my best clients? And it's also important to be thinking, well, what's the opportunity gained from getting a new client? Because if you kind of overcome and add this competitive edge to your service offerings and to the ability you have to communicate them, you're really making yourself more valuable and able to take up much more of the market share for the businesses that need CPAs.
Yeah, now one hindrance to adding value is going to be the time it takes you to become a quote-unquote expert. Right? How long does it take you to become an expert on a particular industry? How long does it take you to consolidate data and really know how your clients stack up? So you can really add value by having software or technology that gathers complex industry data and really puts it into a presentable material for your client. This takes your tax meetings or your other compliance-oriented meetings and really provides your clients with an added value picture of their business, which can then lead to multiple or additional consulting engagements there. So something you should always ask yourself, if you want to be honest, is what do you currently do for your business clients outside of a typical tax return or bookkeeping, and figure out what's left on the table, right? Are you leaving money on the table, or are you leaving up the opportunity for them to walk away and find somebody else? Those are the things that kind of should keep you up at night when you're looking at these type of opportunities or services you could be providing.
I think one thing too that kind of helps put into perspective the impact that CPAs have on a business or can have on a business is that business owners aren't only concerned about how much money they can prevent being taken away in taxes or needing to do internal and external audits. What they're really concerned about is how do I make this a sustainable growing business for the remainder of my time here, and then eventually valuing that business and selling it. So really being able to provide some answers or even some questions to how they're doing things and can improve their business is really going to be useful and helpful. So one, there's kind of that process of identifying areas that need to be attended to, and then two, providing the answer to those areas.
Yeah, so you guys, at this point in time, you may be asking yourself, like, what does this process look like? Like, how do I actually do this? So there's a multitude of software tools that can pull data together. It can simplify actionable insights that an individual should be taking. Keep in mind, this software doesn't replace the decision maker or the problem solver. It just really helps to diagnose the appropriate procedures that can be taken to solve a particular problem. So when you're actually automating something like industry data points or presenting them to your clients, you'll be able to identify areas of concern as you take a snapshot of the client's business and then suggest services you can provide that will actually solve their problems. Since business change, and that's why you meet with your clients quarterly or maybe even monthly, this process will never end. It'll never be obsolete. You'll always be able to provide your clients an understanding of their business and be able to prescribe appropriate solutions here. In particular, you're in a great place to do this even during the busy tax season, right? Your clients are already thinking about their finances. They're already meeting with you to discuss the health of their business. So there's an opportunity to add value now and to begin the process of opening up your engagement opportunities throughout the year so you're not behind the ball once the tax season ends.
This is one of those times where, like we said in the beginning, whether you use our product or not, this is important and you should be doing this. You should, every time when you're meeting with your clients, being able to diagnose their health or take the temperature of each client and how their industry is doing and how they're doing in particular in comparison to that industry. And then being able to, again, identify areas where you can add value through your services. Always be thinking about what they need and what you have. And one of the things that's shockingly amazing to Chad and myself is there's so many times where people do not communicate the services that they offer, nor are they able to identify the services that clients need. So again, it's all about communication and about being transparent about what you can offer and what you can provide.
So we mentioned earlier, right, how important it is to know your client's industry. So your goal during client meetings this tax season should be to provide insights and value when they're most engaged, like we talked about. It's important to have an understanding of the client beyond their individual performance. It's just as important to understand the performance of the environment or the industry itself that your client is competing within. So doing research on things like the key performance indicators of your client industry will equip you with great questions to ask as you map out and discover opportunities to provide services. Anybody that's been on our previous sessions, when we look at key performance indicators, we're looking at things that are specific to the industry. So if we were looking at, say, for example, a restaurant industry, the key performance areas would be like the seat turnover or the food cost of sales. If you're looking at things like hotels, you're talking about your occupancy rate. If you're looking at a construction company, right, you're looking at the backlog or the subcontractor expense. Being able to talk to that extent is going to be great in these areas to help you excel. So do your research there. Learn what these key performance areas are. When looking at this and once you've done your research, you have the ability to encourage your clients, help them address problems and challenge them to improve in the processes with data. Right? Having the data makes it harder for your client to deny that they need the help, and really it's the help that you guys can provide.
And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about here today, and again this comes down to everyone involved here, whether you're a customer or that you're just somebody coming to learn a little bit about automation today, one of the most important things about being able to take the temperature of your clients or a prospect's business is by having accurate and good data. And so one of the things that we've been talking about the whole time is automating processes within your firm, and there's tons of solutions that can help you do this. But again, the important component is thinking about what data is accurate and useful. Because again, big data is scary and can be misleading, and so you want to make sure the data is coming from good places. And so a lot of what we do is we bring in data from banks, accounting firms, and other financial professionals. So it's not self-reported, but it's actually coming in from people who understand financials, understand how they are handled. And then it comes in and is anonymized so that we don't really know the name of the firm, but we know the size of the firm, how much they're making in revenue, and their general geographic location. And so then that's something that you can actually filter through, and we can talk about this a little bit on the next slide, and the customizable reports that we have that can actually help you zero in on your geographic region and also the size of the company, depending on how much revenue they're bringing in each year. And then you're able to really provide a picture, a tangible report, automated for you, for each of your clients, each of your prospects, on something that's going to kind of display what the industry health is and what their health is in comparison to that. And then you can actually project out ways to fix the company, way to improve things, and then ultimately value the business for if you're looking at where things are at now and what needs to be changed in order to sell the business at a profitable state, you can do that as well. And so that's just something I wanted to talk about in today's meeting, because a lot of times what ends up happening is people get these tools and then don't use them appropriately or well in the way that they can. And it's all about initially giving your clients and your prospects a picture of where they're at. And give them that picture and give that as a value add, and then begin directing them when their company kind of comes into play with fixing things. Then that's when you start engaging them, talking about pricing and talking about how you're going to provide value. And we have people who do it differently. Sometimes people do it more of a traditional route of doing hourly billing, but we really suggest doing value billing, and that's something that our projection tool actually helps you to do by identifying how much a single change in the company's business will impact the bottom line, and then you're able to identify the value that you've added, and therefore can have a substantial amount credited to you for that engagement.
Yeah, and as Zach mentioned earlier, we have the availability to talking to hundreds of accountants, each month. And one of the things that comes up all the time is the amount of time, right? The amount of time to do anything. So something like entering in data could be a hindrance, like if you have to do everything manually. So we want to help to automate that process. So if you have different softwares looking like an Excel or QuickBooks or Xero, things like that, we can import that data directly to help you run these reports. What I do want to show you today, because of being the tax season, this is actually a new feature we've added, is the ability to import data from the electronic tax return. Even if you're a current customer, this is fairly new, so you may not even be aware of this, but if you guys are using Drake or Lacerte, if you're using ProSeries Tax or ProSystem FX or even UltraTax, we have the ability to read that electronic tax return, to import the data into the system and put it in a financial statement format. So what I'd like to do is just very simply show you guys, Zach, if you'll switch it over to my screen, I want to show you the availability of how to just quickly enter that data from a tax return. So what you're going to see here is I'm actually logged into my account here. I'm just going to go ahead and set up how to add data, and I'm going to choose a profile that's already been created. So when we do this, I'm going to delete the current period so I can start from scratch here. So I'm going to create a new financial statement here. You see, I could do the data manually, that's perfectly fine, or I can go to the integrator, and it's going to give you all the options we have available, the data, the software we can pull from. I'm going to choose a tax return, and I'm going to do the electronic tax return reader. So all I have to do is have this file saved on my, on my computer, and I'm going to load here the 2012 data. So we're going to go ahead and process that. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and read that tax return. We're going to go ahead and import the data for this most recent period, or for this current period that we're selecting, and we're going to convert that into the financial statement format here. So you can see within the matter of probably maybe 15 to 20 seconds there, I could actually confirm the tax form if I'd like to. I can actually view the financials to show me what the data looks like. And now that data is already in our system, and the report's ready to run. So you can do this for up to 5 periods of data for each client, and we're really looking at a matter of under 2 or 3 minutes to do that completely.
Yeah, and I really appreciate Chad just taking a second to show us that, because it can be a bit of a process, but it's really something that, again, gets you back in a very simple, automated way into being able to provide some services from simple tax statements that you're already doing. And so it's a good way to transition from compliance to consulting engagements. And so this is one of the ways that we can do that through two of our softwares. That one is ProfitSense, which is the one that we've been mainly talking through today, which does have kind of a thumbnail version of a valuation tool to it. But then we ended up building out our own valuation solution that really goes into the nitty-gritty of each business to be able to value it through the market, asset, and income approaches. And so those are some of the products that we have. And if you have an interest in it, please reach out to Chad or I. And also, if you're just interested in the general education of these topics that we've been talking to, please reach out to us. We really enjoy talking about them and being able to provide some insights to what we're looking at. And again, some of those benefits will come down to being able to quickly diagnose your client's financials, being able to compare your industry and communicate complex financials and easy to understand graphs, metrics, and narrative reports. It's amazing to hear some of our customers talk about when they're trying to go through a financial statement or a balance sheet with their clients, and their clients' eyes just gloss over, and they're so used to having that happen that when they finally do use a narrative report, spend some time developing that narrative report, again, adding their value that they have to the foundation that we've already provided, and seeing the eyes of the business owners light up. It's really incredible to be able to see that and to be able to provide that. And then likewise, we have our business valuation solution, which can help you streamline processes by having your team all together, whether they're in various offices, and automate financial analysis with a report builder and document manager. And again, this kind of a little overview of who we are before we get here to the end is we have a technology platform that allows you to access us on the cloud, so we're available everywhere. And to be able to customize your reports for each individual person, which that means like being able to put their logo on, being able to mess with the graphics as far as the colors, and really be able to deliver something that's professional looking. And then being able to, like Chad showed us, have a simple integration from your tax returns or from different accounting softwares, and being able to, with all those things, accessing our industry data, which is the strongest in the United States, and it's something that's very useful and helpful to thousands of accountants. And so with that, I did want to ask this one poll question here, and this is a poll question for customers and non-customers alike. If you want to be able to have a conversation about ProfitSense, if you're interested in learning about its functionality or its value or both, please let us know. And again, if you're a customer, we can definitely connect you to our consulting team, who's always there and willing to help out and provide some insight. So if you can, I'm going to leave this up for a minute here, and you can go ahead and put in this poll question.
And Zach, while they're answering this, we mentioned earlier just a special offer for everyone. So anybody in attendance today, if you're already a customer, this wouldn't apply. You already have access to this, but we're more than happy to provide you with a few industry data reports for any particular industries you're interested in. If you want to reach out to a particular client, if you want to go over that strategy, we're more than happy to provide you with a couple of sample reports there directly for the industry. And then also for anybody that's ready to move forward, if you see the value and you want to get started now, we do have an offer in place for anybody that moves forward before April the 18th, where we'll actually do 3 or so of your client data imports. I mean, you saw it was easy enough, but we'll do it for you. Typically we look at an Excel software, but we're happy to integrate with any software you have there. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in, and we can walk through more of how we can get our sales engineer to actually set up 3 clients for you to get started with the tax season.
So I just threw up a poll question there about the industry data report, and this is something that Chad will personally walk through with you and help you deliver insights to the clients that you're going to be talking with. So if you'd like that, he can, again, design it specifically for your industry that you're wanting to talk about with your clients, and he will get you going on that. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. If anybody else wants to jump on that, I'll give you a few more seconds here.
And Zach, everything we talked about here is led up to our ProfitSense. If any of our current customers or anybody else is more interested in our valuation solution, we can talk about the benefits there, as well.
And again, this is just a brief overview of the the offer that we have. Can't use my words right now. And so Chad's already mentioned it, but we'll give a free upload to new customers who people want to come on board here, and we'll be able to send this out to you in a follow-up email so you'll have all the information as well. And then just real quick, I always like to flash this one last slide with Chad's information on there. If you have any questions, he is the man to talk to. And again, if you're purely interested in information about the educational topics that we talked about today, I would still encourage you to reach out to Chad. He has a lot of insights and knowledge into the industry, and you can also kind of pick his brain about what other firms are doing, and he'll be able to deliver some help with that. But thank you for attending today's webinar. We're right over time, I think, by 1 minute. But I'm glad that we were able to do this in 30 minutes with you guys, and I hope that you have a great rest of your tax season, and then enjoy the vacation that you're going to get afterwards. I know we will too. Anyway, I hope you have a great day.
Thanks.